this can be also forward to Emmanuel. Put it in a way that can be saved or something. Okay, with the help of Hashem, talk about Parshas Vayechi. We look on the death of Yaakov Avinu. There's something special which we don't see by Avram and Yitzchok. By Avram and Yitzchok it says, Avram Avinu died zaken v'savei hayamim, elderly and satisfied with his days. By Yaakov Avinu, doesn't say that he died elderly and satisfied with his days. However, it says something else. It says as follows: Vayichal Yaakov letzavot es bonov. Yaakov finished to command children what to do with him, how to bury him. He gave them rebuke. He blessed each one. Vayesof raglav el hamita. He gathered his legs to the bed. Vayigva. Vayitnagid. Vayasef el amav. He gathered his nation. So Chazal medayek umisal enem raboy. It doesn't say the Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit. The Gemara is medayek. It doesn't say death by Yaakov Avinu. Zichron Livrocha in Tainis Dafei. Yaakov Avinu didn't die. He didn't die. What does that mean? It's not an explanation, but the Ikesif Chachon says, Shelo itoam ta'amisa. He definitely died because they abominated him, they buried him, definitely died. They made him a mummy. So what does it mean he didn't die? It means he didn't taste the taste of death. And what does that mean? Simply means that Yaakov Avinu is special more than all the other forefathers. Avram and Yitzchok, Avram had Ishmael, Yitzchok had Esav. So he wasn't complete with his descendants. Rather than Yaakov Avinu, he had 12 boys, 12 sons. Even he had Tohomot, but he got married to the Tohomot, to the twins. And all his children were tzaddikim, even Dino did tshuva. All his children were tzaddikim, shiftei kol. And all of them were completed under Hashem, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Echad. Before he died, all gathered him and all together with Hashem, fully shiftei kol. So he didn't die. He didn't have a taste of death. There was this famous guy that he was the one that founded, I think, Apple. What was his name? Steve Jobs. So he had cancer before he died. And he wrote and he said, all his billions of dollars didn't help him. What does it help him? He needs to move to this side or that side. He has pressure, who knows what, boils on his body, who knows what. And all his money, all his wealth have no value. So he thought to himself, what really is the value that a man has before he dies? He says, the love of his family. But really, is the wrong conclusion. Because even the love of the family is only momentarily, is time. Now, a couple of years later, 50 years later, 100 years later, has any meaning? The family also gone. The children, grandchildren are gone. The person himself is gone. What value does he have then he has the love of his family. There's no value. The real value we're talking about is the value of the love that a man feels that he has with Hashem. And that love's eternity. And he has to strengthen that love. And how he knows Hashem loves him, and how he knows the strength of his love is strong, because he see all his descendants are all being trained to love Hashem. Wow, so that boosts his love to Hashem. It's not only he himself all his life served Hashem and loved Hashem, also he succeeded all his children going the ways of Hashem. And all going the way of Hashem and the will of Hashem because of the Father. That's the Father's will. They've been trained by the Father. So then his love to Hashem increases and continues on. That's what it means. Yaakov Avinu didn't die. Yaakov Avinu lo meis. He didn't die. He didn't taste the taste of death. Because death means a cut. But with Hashem is no cut. With Hashem, it continues. It goes on. Not the love of your families. Your heart is dead. Finish. Your intellect is dead. Finish. No. The intellect continues in the world of the next world. And the love of Hashem is in your intellect. And your connection to Hashem is there forever. And when your children continue in the ways of Hashem because of you, so then your deeds in this world, which brings you to connect to Hashem, grows. Chazal teach us, Bro mezaka abba. A child can merit the father. A child can merit the father, which means if the child continues to do good deeds, the father's not dead. Why? Kid, there's no cut, finish. You cannot do any more actions, good deeds. Your time is up, finish. Whatever you did is dead. It's finished, not dead. You have children that you created, came from you, and your children, because of your training, continue to do Torah and mitzvahs. So then your connection to Hashem grows. You have fruits, and those fruits make four fruits. It's all part of you. So the person is dead or alive is alive. So Yaakov Avinu lo meis, he didn't die. Because he had the 12 tribes. He had the 12 children. When a person is in the yeshiva and he prepares himself to get married, he has to be very careful who he's getting married to. Because it depends on the wife. He doesn't get the wife that wants to push him towards Torah and mitzvahs and love to Hashem and connecting to Hashem. So then his children were not able to pick it up. If the wife pushes left and he pushes right, the children will fall in between. Or maybe some of the children will follow, some not. So you have death. Some of the children is death. Like Avraham Avinu, he died. He had satisfied with his life, but he had Ishmael. Yitzchak had Esau, wasn't complete. But Yaakov lo meis. Yaakov didn't die, because all the children continue on the ways of Hashem, so he's still alive. The actions still bring him up and closer to Hashem. So when you're in yeshiva, you have to be very careful, very picky who you choose for a wife. You have to pray to Hashem, to have the proper wife that will to grow with you, to bring them to Hashem in Yiddishkeit and Torah and mitzvahs. It's very serious with your partner. It's not only a partner for yourself. Okay, I get what I need from her. It's not only yourself, it's your children. I remember once I was in Brazil. I don't know, I was in some kind of botanical garden. And the time of the garden was finished, was made the time to close. And I decided I saw like a small little place where they sell something and they had all the chairs outside and the tables. And they put in the chairs on top of the tables. So I took one of the chairs and I sat down. And I see a guy walks by and he bangs himself to one of the chairs. And I try to help him. I talk to him. Find out that he's Jewish. He's come from a very Jewish, very rich family, billionaires and Amazons. And not millonarios, billionaires. Billionaires. I'll come out in a minute to tell you the name. Anyhow, he's walking out with a girl. And I start talking to him, and he sees that I'm a rabbi. He says to me, Shalom Aleichem. I'm Jewish, I'm a rabbi. And I said, who is she? She says, she's my girlfriend. I said, she's Jewish. She says, no. So I said, listen, it's not a matter of religion. It's a matter of identity. Your children will have a crisis of identity. Who do they belong to? They belong to Jews or they belong to Christians. It's also a matter of religion. But I don't know if you can hear me. But at least an identity part, you should hear me. If they're going to marry a non-Jewish mother, they will have a split personality. Who do they belong to? They always couldn't. Even if you both aren't religious, but if along the line they will look at themselves where they belong, which nation they belong, which religion they belong. They have a crisis. I met one time in Slovakia a tour guide. He told me, God, he knew Hebrew. I said, how do you know Hebrew? He says, my father was an Arab, a policeman in Haifa, and my mother was Jewish. He says, my sister, she's religious, she did tshuva, she got married, her husband is a rabbi. He says, every man that I meet that goes out with non-Jewish girls, I convince them not to marry non-Jewish girls or boys. Why? He says, I'm a live testimony. The suffering that I lived all my life, that I feel not belonged. Not here, nicht dahin, nicht daher, this English. Not here, not here, not there. So I give advice. So I told that person also in Brazil, it's advice. He stood for 1 second, because I figure out if Hashem made him to bump into the chair for me and Samuel Shalom Aleichem, and so it must be, I have a few seconds to give him some words to convince his heart to know that he's doing wrong. Who says who's going to meet a rabbi again? Who knows? And he heard me. He says, you're right. I have to think about it. I don't know what happened. He left. But the point is, Yaakov Avinu is alive because he married the proper mothers. They went with him. He says, let's leave Lavan. They all ran away from Lavan. They totally went after him. They totally were tzaddikas, tzaddikot. When you get married, you have to make sure to get married to the proper girl. When you build a home, your children follow the same way that you have. I'm talking about Goyim and Jews. You married a Jewish girl, but which kind of level of understanding and service to Hashem they want to give to your children? What kind of children you want to build? You want to create and train children who's going to be Talmidei Chachomim, or be internet boys and TikTok boys. Who knows what type of boys you're going to bring to the world and train? Lions, servants of Hashem, slaves, avodim Hashem. A person has to put time. And even if you marry the proper girl, children don't grow just like that. You have to spend time. You have to be a live example. You have to train them, learn with them, teach them, express your feelings and yours, and train them how to do and what to do, and pray to Hashem that will pick up the understanding that you have about Hashem and the love that you had. You were zoiche to be in yeshiva. You were zoiche to be amongst rabbis that love Hashem and devote their life to Hashem. You're able to pick it up and get touched to you. You have to make sure your children go to yeshiva and they get picked up in a proper way. And even you send them to yeshiva doesn't mean that we'll do enjoy the yeshiva. You can be lazy, run away from yeshiva, don't like the rabbis. If the children are born religious, they have different problems. You are not religious born, okay? So you came from love to yeshiva. Kids are born religious have other problems. They feel controlled, being pushed on. You have to have a lot of chokhmah, a lot of davening, a lot of siyata d'ishmaya. Yaakov Avinu lo imeis, because he succeeded. All the up and down, the bottom line in, he made sure all the children that Talmidei Chacham Yirei Shamayim, Eved Hashem, love of Hashem, Shiftei Kol. Hashem could testify the shift that have Yud Kei Vav Kan on them. So he didn't die, he succeeded. So the tachlis is to succeed. And I'll finish with my father, bless his memory, used to say, my father was zoiche. All his children were Talmidei Chachomim Amelim Batoyros. Very few people in the world are zoiche to be like that. All his children, all his boys. Nisim Nifros. Doesn't mean you don't have an easy time. You had a hard time. Twist and turn the arms and ups and down. But Tachlis is what happens in the end. So he used to say that Levi lived the longest of all his children of Yaakov Avinu. He lived till 137. Why? Because out of Levi had to come on Moshe and Aaron. So therefore he had to train his grandchildren. He lived a long years, 17 years more than all the brothers, to make sure that he has a period of time that he can train his grandchildren and train them to become the big leaders of the Jewish nation. The tribe of Levi never slaved and always learning Torah. To create that, they have to have a longer life. You have to have time, spend time training, chinuch your kids, learn with them, teach them. And when they pick up this idea of Ach v'rak Torah, Hashem and mitzvahs, then you know that when a person leaves the world, he knows his sholem, he didn't die, there's no death, there's no tam misa. Because there's no death, it's not finished, continues on. Your children continue on learn Torah, there's more Torah, all this continues on. Hashem should give us a bracha, each one here. Should marry properly, to the proper girl, the proper wife, and able to train your children properly, and the children will listen to you and pick up the good traits in you, and able to do the will of Hashem. Okay.